Hi everyone, today I'll be making homemade Nutella. So here are my ingredients. I'll have some nuts. For this recipe I'll be using mixed nuts and hazelnuts, but you can use any type of nuts that you want. I'll have some dark chocolate, icing sugar and some olive oil as well, so it's quite basic. My cooking equipment is quite simple. All I need is a Pyrex jug to put my chocolate in whilst melting it, a pan, a mixing bowl, a sieve which is to break down the lumps in the icing sugar. Even though it's quite powdery, it gives the chocolatey part of your Nutella, makes it quite smooth, which is preferable when you're spreading it onto different things. I have a wooden spoon, a tub to put the finished product in. I have a NutriBullet, a type of blender, and some weighing scales.
Go.
So here I've just turned my scales on and put my mixing bowl on the kitchen scales so I can measure my nuts out. I'm just going to do a rough ratio of mixed nuts to hazelnuts, but you need to have 75 grams in total. So I'm just going to take some out because there are a few many in here. That's too much. There, that's 75, one walnut difference. So I've just turned my scales off and put them aside for a moment. I'm going to put these nuts onto this baking tray and that's half a walnut. So I'm just going to turn my oven onto fan at 200 degrees Celsius and then I'll go and get my nuts. So in the meantime, whilst I'm waiting for my oven to fill up so I can put those nuts in, I'm going to break up my dark chocolate into different chunks in smaller pieces, which allows it to melt quicker and more easily. I'll then get this Pyrex dish, which can be used to cook things in, so in the boiling water it won't melt or damage or crack. And I can put my chocolate in there. Of course, this will go on top of a pan that has boiling water in, so that the chocolate won't catch. I'm just going to put these nuts in the oven now. Now I'm going to get this water from the kettle and put it into a pan. It's very hot, so if you're quite young and you are trying this, make sure you get an adult to assist you. Be careful because it splashes quite a lot. And make sure not to touch the metal. So I'm just going to put my chocolate on top of the water here. Be careful whilst doing this. And I'll go and get a wooden spoon to leave in there so when it starts melting down I can stir it so it doesn't catch on the bottom. Whilst my chocolate's melting and my nuts are finishing in the oven, I need to turn these scales on and measure my icing sugar. Oh, I need to turn the scales on to 0. You need 50 grams of this. That's a bit much. Just there. That's that'll do. As you can see, my nuts are well roasted, maybe a little too much, but they'll be fine, and now I just need to blend them down. So right now I'm just going to blend my nuts here, the nuts for my ingredients, and if you're doing this as a child, you need to make sure that an adult is near you and do not put your hands anywhere near the blade, and just push down or press the blending button until your nuts are the consistency you want them. Some people like it finer, some people like it quite crunchy. It's up to you. So my chocolate is melted here, so I'm just going to turn off the hob, let that cool down for a moment just to make sure that it's safe to touch. So I've got my chocolate here now, and I'm just going to get my nuts and pour them into this jug. If you tap the container or thing that you blended them in, you'll get all the nuts in, which is good because we want a nutty taste to the chocolate. Sometimes it can take a while to get every single bit of nuts. Yeah. Now I'm going to sieve my icing sugar into this mixture here. Some of you may be thinking, why don't I just add the mixture to the mixing bowl? But that means that you're losing a lot of chocolate, and I want to try and keep as much as possible. So if we just add that. So that's been sieved in now, and I can get my my wooden mixing spoon, take the sieve off, and stir, just fold it in slightly, don't mix it all in completely, so that it's not in layers, it's kind of tumbled into each other. And I'm just going to quickly get this extra virgin olive oil and add around 100 milliliters. That should be good. So if we mix that in, should be a nice smooth, chocolatey, rich, nutty taste.